in my phone.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Rhino.
Business is about to pick up here.
Business is picking up on a Monday. What's up, everybody? Ryan in Sacktown, Kings Court, coming to you live, getting you ready for the Kings and the Mavs. Here tonight, the Kings look to make it 7 of 9. 7 of 9. How about that? Quietly, 7 of 9, shall I say. A lot of people excited about that, considering this road trip, considering the schedule. Getting that game in Houston was really big. But it comes with its consequences. We'll go over those. You already know them. I'm not dropping any news. But Sabonis, the grade 1 hamstring strain. The grade 1. Everybody probably is read up on what a grade 1 means. It is the best scenario for a hamstring strain, but hamstrings are tricky. They are really tricky. I would be surprised if you see Domas anytime before the Kings start their longest home stretch of the second half of the season. But we will go over all that. A John Cena heel turn? Something, it makes all the sense in the world. Look, it's the one thing John Cena's never done. He's never been a heel. But I got a problem with it. I'll tell you here in a little bit as well. We'll take your calls. And by the way, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to give away that Keon Ellis signed photo today that I showed you on Saturday. We'll give away the Stockton Kings hat as well. So we'll get to all that on the other side. Your calls as well. Can't wait to talk to all of you. So get up in here. Kings, Mavs, whatever you want to talk about. Football, we've got that too. The Phoenix Suns, a dumpster fire. Lot to go over. Looking forward to it. Thanks for being here. Let's get Court started on If You Don't Like That.
Nights on the screen, hey, it's Grant and Ryan. We bleed purple, talking hoops, never lying. Sacramento Kings, we rise and we fall. If you don't like that, then you don't know ball. Jerry sitting with the stories of the game, spilling all the truth, driving legends insane. From the Cow Palace days to Arco's roar, this town's heart beats on the hardwood floor. If you don't like that, turn away now.
Yes, we do. We ride strong and proud. So, Sacktown.
What do you guys want to talk about?
There is a lot to talk about. By the way, I was completely wrong on Saturday night, which I am okay to admit. Your guy, our guy, Scala BCA, he's coming up on a 10-day contract for the Kings. Now, don't expect Scal to be getting heavy minutes unless something happens to JV or somebody gets ejected or foul trouble. He's more or less going to be an insurance policy to see if they can get things bridged over with Sabonis out. But good for Scal. I am very, very happy. I thought it would have been Isaac, and Isaac still is on a two-way. I don't think he's satisfied the 55 games that, for those that don't know, if you are a two-way player, you can dress and or play in 55 NBA games. I'm not sure where the numbers stand with Isaac, but it couldn't happen for a better guy in Scal. Grant talks all the time about how much he just incredibly enjoyed his time around Scal. Not a guy that I've talked to a ton in Stockton when I'm down there, but definitely a name that anytime I'm having a conversation with somebody in Stockton or about the Stockton Kings, the importance of the role that Scal plays down there and how he's accepted it, he's embraced it, how he has really helped foster some of this younger generation, the unscouted talent, these talents that are developing, like your Keon Ellis's, your Mason Jones, obviously Colby Jones no longer with the team, Kessler Edwards, who the Kings will see tonight. So great stuff. Like the move. Hate that Domas is hurt. Domas getting hurt, by the way. What a tricky and freaky thing. It wasn't freaky from the sense of he appeared, and I've been kind of peeking around, sneaking around, asking questions. In fact, I did after the Charlotte game. It was in the Charlotte game where it looked like he had tweaked that hamstring. And it was in the second, I want to say the second half, third quarter-ish. And it was somebody was shooting free throws and he's kind of bending over and he's stretching out and grabbing his toe. So I think there might have been something kind of feeling off, and then it just pulled. A minute and 16 seconds into the game against Houston, which Grant categorizes as a signature win. How about that? A signature win. I happen to agree with them. Probably some of the best defense. Actually, no, let me check that. Let me take that back. It was definitely the best defensive effort this Kings team has had since the De'Aaron Fox trade. Very, very much impressed with that. Also, news on Zach LaVine, Western Conference Player of the Week. Very much deserved. I know this fan base breathing a little bit easier, seeing him putting up some numbers, producing. The basketball IQ, though, he's good for one or two of those bad passes a night, and I'll be damned if it hasn't rubbed off on Malik Monk. Malik Monk is not making great decisions all the time, kind of reverting back to some of those decisions he made last year, a little bit, maybe a few times early in this year, but it's got to get cleaned up as the Kings continue this stretch. But hell, they win tonight, they guarantee themselves a 3-1 road trip. And this is a game the Kings absolutely should win. So we've got a lot to go over. Thank you for being here. We're going to give away the the Keon Ellis autograph picture and hat. I'm still thinking of a way to give it away. You know, it's very unprofessional of me to come to air without an idea. But I'm taking your ideas. How should we give this thing away? I do know this. You have to follow me on the X. If you're not following me on X, you are not eligible because I can't get a hold of you. So make sure you're following me on X at Ryan_in_Sacktown. You can just go to the X platform, type in the King's Court with Rhino, and you will find it there. So that is your first step. Make sure you are following me on X, and you will be eligible for the giveaway today. I'm kicking it straight to you. We've got phone calls waiting, and then we'll dig into the other night. We'll dig into the injury situation, what it means for the Kings. We'll also dig into everything else that happened over the weekend, including one of you, Tone, the quote-unquote lone writer, putting spoilers in the chat on the post-game show. You spoiled the John Cena heel turn. After I begged, I pled, don't do it. Somebody did it during the Royal Rumble, and they absolutely did it again on Saturday night. So, Tone, if you're wondering why your chats aren't going through, it's because you are on timeout, my man. We'll get you timeout here in a second. Chat, I'm coming to you as well. I see a super chat, by the way. Thank you very much for that. Want to get to that right away. Let's see. Ted, appreciate that very much. Above will mail in for the playoffs. Below, lame. We playing good. Maybe closer loaded. Sac Valley, big game because Middle and Ellis are Kyrie. Okay, I'm gonna come back to read that one in a second. Thank you for that, Todd Bolin. We'll hit that in a second. I want to get to the phones first. Again, appreciate the super chat. Let's let Tay kick things off today. What's up, Tay?
Hey Ryan, how you doing?
How you doing, brother?
Good, good. So just wanna talk about tonight's game.
Yep.
Obviously, I think we all agree that Kings look better on paper, primarily due to the Mavs injuries. But I think last time they faced the Mavs, they won on DeRozan's buzzer beater. So one thing about Mavericks and their players is that they play really hard. Guys like Max Christie, Dante Exum, Kessler Edwards, Jaden Hardy. So I think um they can't be out hustled tonight basically, and they're on a 3-game winning streak. And if you remember before the All-Star break, they were also on a 3-game winning streak before they lost
Right.
to the Pelicans, and um that was a disastrous loss, and there were a lot of noise coming from the loss. I see tonight's game in a similar light. If they cannot win tonight, I think to a certain extent it may negate the win that they had in Houston, and we may be having a lot of critical conversations later tonight on your show. So I think tonight, really, I hope they can win and pull it off. And again, I think um, just they can't be out hustled basically because Mavs are gonna play hard no matter who's on the floor.
Tay, I'm with you 100%. It's the classic formula for this team. You get a big win and then a big letdown. And we've seen it go both ways this season, where they followed up a big win with a win in a game that they're supposed to win. But tonight in particular is very interesting for everything you just laid out. You hit it perfect. This Dallas team's undersized. This Dallas team hustles. They're scrappy. Kyrie Irving's playing out of his mind. And let me remind you, on the screen right now, these are the team stats from the last time these two teams met that Tay's referencing. This was the game where the Kings had 21 turnovers
Oh my
for
gosh.
36 points, and they still won the game. Now,
I can't believe that.
here's the other wild card to that. This was also a game where Domantas Sabonis had a night. He had another just plus 19 in the plus minus column, 16 and 15, 8 assists. And I wonder what the Kings are going to have to adjust for now with JV starting. One is going to be conditioning. You know, he was probably gassed after Houston. Those were big minutes for him. By far, one of his best game in Sacramento, hands down. The best bench performance of the year, hands down. 10 of the 13 steals came from the bench. But what's the scheme going to look like with JV? And I believe, Tay, correct me if I'm wrong, this was the first game that Doug Christie went double big.
I think so. Yeah, you're right because he tried that double big again in the Pelicans game, and that was the second time he went. So this was the first time, and I think it was the third quarter, end of the third quarter, where JV and
Correct.
Sabonis double lineup worked, and they brought them back. They were down by 8 or 10 points, but then brought them back by the start of the fourth quarter. So you're right, you know. So um, for unfortunately, we won't see the in Lithuanian bigs together tonight. And I think Grant also made a good point that's JV is susceptible to foul trouble just
He
because of
is.
the
Yeah.
way that he plays. So may not be an easy game as you know in that regard. So we'll see.
Yep, I'm with you, Tay. Anybody
Yeah.
that thinks this is going to be a walk in the park tonight, forget about it. It's not. The Kings are going to have to bring it for sure. And I think you just hit on the biggest key. JV has got to stay out of foul trouble. Has to.
Yeah, and switching gears, and I know Grant doesn't like talking about theoreticals. That's why I called in because he's not on the show. But something made me really excited about this potential. Um, say that the Rockets, they have a relatively easy schedule. The Houston Rockets, say that they get their things together and end up getting the second seed, and say that the Kings end up getting the eighth seed and they win the play and get the seventh seed, and it's a Rockets and Kings matchup in the first round. I think, in my opinion, Kings match up really well with the Rockets, specifically because Rockets don't really have lengthy players outside of Sengun and Jabari Smith, and Jabari Smith is still young. I think in that case, Kings can potentially win that series in 6 or 7 games. If that were to theoretically happen, and if you agree that Kings can beat the Rockets in first round and they get to second round, I think we can forgive Monty for everything that may have happened this season. If that were to happen, would you agree?
No. No, you because it wasn't something that's been one season with Monty. You have the same problem that you've had all along, which is you've drafted guards that aren't point guards but aren't shooting guards. They're somewhere in the middle. You've for the majority of your tenure had most of your players playing out of position. Even now, guys are playing at, well, maybe you're a little bit closer now that JV's at center, but you've had guys playing out of position. You've had 2 trade deadlines where Monty, although the Kings made small moves here and there, one was the trade exception that they were going to lose if they didn't use it to get Kessler Edwards. And then the other, I forget what the move was, but it basically freed up the cash to promote Keon Ellis to a full-time roster spot.
That's
And
right.
those 2 trade deadlines are where the Kings fell behind in the West. It's the little things like that. This Dallas team last year, who the Kings were ahead of in the standings, they make a couple of moves, giving up. I think the biggest thing they gave up was a first round pick, Tay. And
Yeah.
where's it take them? The NBA freaking finals. The year before that, the Lakers, they make a couple of moves. Like Hachimura was out there, would have been a great fit for the Kings, something they needed. Was not an expensive move to make. They go do that. They get D'Lo. What happens? Western Conference Finals. The margin for error is so paper thin in the West, and the Kings fell behind and sat on their hands. I don't know if they thought that the product was better than what it actually is. I don't know if those guys just weren't available to them, but the inactivity, especially after the Beam Team year, Tay, where the Kings didn't really do much that summer. They extended Sabonis, and you could have a conversation around that, say, like, well, why did you have to use that money then and there? Sabonis wasn't going to go anywhere, you know. So, anyways, I don't think
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
think it changes anything. And even if the Kings do match up well with the Rockets, you've got to win 2 games in the playoffs. So, hey, appreciate the call, Tay. Looking
All
forward
right.
to
Thanks,
probably
Ryan.
hearing from you later
Yeah.
tonight.
Have a good dinner before the game, all right?
Yeah, hey, I
Yep.
appreciate that.
Bye.
Good job by Tay kicking us off. Alex, call back if you would like. I know a couple other people were on hold as well. A couple of thoughts really quick, because he brought up the schedule coming home for Houston. Another team that has a pretty easy schedule, might be the easiest in the West coming home, is Minnesota. They are starting to put it together quietly. They were in Phoenix last night. I ended up watching that game, and oh my, oh my, are the Phoenix Suns a dumpster fire? They are so bad. I don't even know what I was watching. I'm like, what?
What is that?
They cared for stretches, other stretches they didn't. They were in the game, they were out of the game. Devin Booker doesn't look interested. You're relying on Bol to put up 20 points a night. This team has completely checked out on Mike Budenholzer. It's not even close. So I agree with Grant at this point that Phoenix is no longer a threat to the Kings. I don't see a scenario, as we bring up the standings really quick, that the Kings are not going to end up in the 10 seed. Because although the Kings have the second hardest record coming home in the NBA, you know who has the hardest record coming home? Phoenix. It's a great point, Rock. Great point. Talent, but no chemistry. It's incredible. And how about this? Looking at the standings right now, the Western Conference, you knew it was going to be like this, but the fact that we're even talking about the Kings being a game out of the 6th seed, holy crap. Now, I don't think that holds up, but holy crap. Incredible. Incredible stuff. So, hey, they surprised us in Houston. Now they need to surprise us tonight and not have a letdown. That is what is most important. Back to the phones. Let's go to Alex. What's up, Alex?
Hey, what's up, Rhino? Can you hear me?
I got you, brother.
Cool. I'm on audio because I'm driving, and we already went through that path before, so I was trying to stay safe.
Yes, I'm glad you're staying safe. That is a good thing.
No, for sure, man. So I do want to talk Kings, but I was in and out of the stream today. What did you think of? Because I know we talked about the John Cena stuff and Cody stuff, and I was telling you for a while they have to make that match happen. Were you happy, or do you still feel the same about the result, about what happened?
No. So I'm okay with the match now because
Okay.
you're not doing a baby face versus a baby face. But I just hated that The Rock had to be involved in Cena's heel turn. It felt unnecessary. Like, what's the point of it? Like, Cena's already he's not at The Rock's level, but he's doing Hollywood stuff. He's pretty much made for the most part. And here's what I hated the most about the heel turn. I loved the idea of the heel turn. I hated the crowd. The crowd in Toronto was so bad all night. Like, they gave Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they showed out. You get a John Cena heel turn, something that fans have been wanting forever. And it was just kind of like, I don't know if the fans were tired. I don't know what it was, but I just didn't think. I think we lost Alex. Alex, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. I just didn't think that the crowd came off very well. I thought it came off a little bit weird, but we'll see where they go with it. I guess you had to do it. One of them needed to be a heel. How long does the John Cena heel turn last? It probably lasts through the rest of his time in WWE. I don't know. But why did The Rock have to be involved? That's my thing, Alex. Alex dropped off, phone line not working. So, yeah, what did you all think about that? Were you excited about it? Did you not like it? It made a lot of news, that's for sure. A lot of people. I mean, is John Cena more interesting to you now as a heel? It's too bad that, like, he's got that big balding spot. Now he's got all this baby face gear that's out. It is the last time. I don't know. They cleared the way for Cena Rock, way more for Rhodes. Well, yes and no. I just okay, like, we've seen Rock and Cena. You saw them 2 WrestleManias in a row. 2 in a row. I don't need to see any more Cena Rock. And there was some good moments from that. Like, you remember The Rock's promo where he's like, and something about Cena's lady parts, and then he goes, and by the way, and he looks into the camera, Cena's lady parts now trending worldwide. Like, there was some really funny moments during that time, but I don't need to see any more Rock Cena. Like, now are we getting a triple threat between Rock, Cena, and Rhodes? Here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. Better actors in politics. Yeah. Here's what I do know. Cena and Cody, had they both been baby faces going into WrestleMania and at WrestleMania, I think that match would have gotten booed. I think that the fans would have turned on that match because there's just so many different options in WWE. So we can keep talking about some WWE if you'd like. I want to get to all of you in the chat because we've got a big game tonight. And by the way, we have got coverage all night for you. As you know, we're kicking you off, leading you up to the Kings and the Mavs here in just about an hour and a half. Halftime, Mr. Valentine himself, Jerry Reynolds, joins us. Always lucky to have him on at halftime on the channel. We will talk about the first half, get his keys to the second half. And by the way, the post-game shows, the last week and a half, 2 weeks have been incredible because of all of you. The calls have been so good. All of you are making this show so much better. Keep calling. By the way, if you have never called, pick up and try and give us a call. It will probably go well as long as, you don't call Grant bad names. You don't, start asking about football season and combine 40 times. It'll go well. Trust me. And it's made the show great. Just ask some of our first timers that have popped up all of a sudden. Tay is relatively new. Fuji's relatively new. Rashane? I can't remember how to say it. But anyways, you get my point. Join us after the game. We will be taking your calls, and we'll be seeing if the Kings will be headed to Denver on a hell of a run. Okay, I have ignored all of you in the chat too long. Let's get to it. Dennis, you're welcome. Dennis, what are you doing, my man? Really quick, I'm just curious. So those that don't know, Dennis is like in my DMs every single day. But I'm like getting these articles about the Kings now from Dennis. Dennis, are you writing articles? Is AI writing articles? What are you doing? Let me know. If you say it's a great win, Grant will skin you alive. No, he will not. Look, here's, you know what I would like to see? You know how I kind of broke in with Grant is I wasn't afraid to stand up to him. And sometimes you guys will stand up to him and gals, and then he'll fire back, and then you just go silent. And you're like, yeah, you're right, Grant. No, come right back at his ass. Come back at him. He likes it. He likes it. Uh-oh. Mr. Wrestling himself wants the link. You can scan the QR code too, Adam, even though it's not on the screen. So I guess you can't. Wait, Rhino gets DMs for the Oh my God. Come on, MC. No, not for that reason, my friend. Not for that reason at all. Adam, will get you in 1 second. I want to keep going on. What's the OWL hotline? I don't know what the OWL hotline is. Let's see. Come on, Kevin. Can't wait till Friday to discuss the Cena heel turn. Okay, so you guys are still talking it. What's up, Ron Ultra? All right, go Kings. Yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a Kings fan right now. Other than the Domas news, things are good. Things are very good. MC can't see me. We can see that. Oh, dude. So funny. NWO meme is hilarious. Okay, so if you are a wrestling fan, seriously, I want to ask this question because I think the most legendary heel turn during my lifetime, like that I actually remember, like I remember where I was at. It was powerful. It was Austin turning heel. I think it was WrestleMania 17. Now, probably the most famous heel turn is the Hogan one that you guys were mentioning in the chat, where that was in WCW. So I guess here's my question to you. Where does the Cena heel turn rate amongst any of those? In fact, I'm going to say I think the Seth Rollins heel turn on the Shield ranks above Cena's. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Yeah, Travis Scott being involved is a little bit weird. He's like burning sage everywhere. It's interesting. Guess it's better than weed, which he was smoking at the Royal Rumble. Ryan must be watching The Brutalist. No, I have not been watching that. I did watch a little bit of the Oscars last night. Hollywood is just they're a group of weird people, man.
Not so fast, midget. Not so fast.
Midget.
Yeah, little guy.
They're just a bunch of weird little people in Hollywood. I'm just like thinking, looking at the Oscars, it's like you have that entire world in a theater right there. Like that is the entire world that runs one aspect of the world in terms of entertainment in movies. Like, I don't know. I just, I'm over those kinds of shows for sure. Alex, very busy today on the channel. Yes, the Kings have a chance to get officially in the playoffs with the 6th seed. Look, okay, as I look for my pen. Yes, the Kings have a chance, but let's be realistic about this. You don't have Domantas Sabonis. Your schedule is the second hardest coming home. I don't think the Kings are going to be contending for the 6th seed. I think that we need to, well, I'm not going to say what you need to do. I can tell you what I am doing. I am mentally prepared and fully accepting of the fact that the Kings are going to be probably the 9 or the 10. That's what I'm thinking, because you don't know how soon AD is going to come back. You don't know how soon Gafford's going to come back. Minnesota, like I said, they're starting to put it together. They've got the easiest schedule coming home. Golden State, wait till Kuminga gets back in the swing of things. Butler didn't play last game for them. The Clippers are an interesting one to me. The Clippers, there's something about the Clippers that is not good for the Kings. They just don't match up well with them anymore. In fact, the athleticism is just too much for the Kings. Maybe it's different now that we don't have Fox and we got Levine, and we'll see that matchup coming up in the near future. But I don't like that one either. I think they're going to be hanging around. Houston, I don't know what they're going to do, actually. I thought Houston would be in the top 3, and I'm starting to think that's going to change. And I hate to say this, y'all, but the Los Angeles Lakers, it works. It works. Luka, this is the first, okay, how do I put this? This is the first time that I have ever watched LeBron James play basketball, and it looks like he is playing with an equal. And when I say an equal, I'm not saying Luka is as good or better than LeBron. I'm saying LeBron sees Luka on the same level as himself. That's never happened. Even when it was with Wade and Bosh and Kyrie, and you can go down the entire list, LeBron always saw himself as a step above everybody else. I don't think that's the case with Luka. And some of these passes that Luka is throwing, JJ Redick, by the way, has done a wonderful job this entire season. Before AD got hurt and traded, ultimately deciding to run the offense through AD, excellent decision. JJ Redick said it the other night, you can't fall into the drop anymore against the Lakers. What the drop is basically helping off your defender and coming down into the post or kind of sliding over and helping. You can't do that anymore because of Luka. He's getting guys better looks. It's not a coincidence that Dalton Connect's 3-point percentage is up. It's not a coincidence. And I know he's hurt right now. Austin Reeves, his shot quality is up. I'm scared. I am literally scared that the Lakers are injecting themselves into a position to where they are possibly one of 5 legitimate contenders to win the championship. Their style of basketball translates. And it kills me to say those words. Absolutely kills me. Coming back to the chat here in just a few minutes, gonna talk about the Houston game. We are also gonna get you ready for Dallas. Break that one down as well. I guess we've got to bring him in. We won't go long on it, but we will allow our resident wrestling correspondent to hit the Cena heel turn. Adam,
Acknowledge me.
what's up, dude?
This is not the greatest heel turn in the history of the WWE?
No, it's not.
It is.
You really feel
is.
that strongly?
Yeah, I feel that strongly about it.
But okay, so was the crowd just stunned?
I think the crowd was stunned. Rhino, I got every call right on Elimination Chamber. Every match, I called it. You said, you're going to put a baby face versus a baby face? And I said, I don't know.
You did say, I don't know.
Didn't call that. Didn't see it coming. Yes, we can all call for the Cena heel turn and want it, but we never expected it. Dominic heel turn was not better.
Okay, I will agree with you that we never expected the heel turn to come in Cena's farewell tour.
No, we didn't.
But
expect
but putting Cena and also putting The Rock in the same ring with the situation that was going on between Rock and Cody, it was almost kind of like you knew something was going to happen at that point. No? Like you were still surprised that Cena turned heel?
Yeah. Up until he gave that shot of John Cena's face, it was incredible. That's a great moment in wrestling history, and we got to win it. I got to witness it. You were watching the Kings.
I got it spoiled for me. That's what happened.
I know.
Got it freaking spoiled.
Oh, and that's true. That's damn true.
Yes.
Cody had the more than Hogan was. Hogan's right there, but Hogan was the babyface, the one who carried this industry for 15 years maybe at that point. I don't know, but John Cena, who's been a good guy his whole career, to just turn, he will. Yes, Mark, you are right. He will turn back before his retirement. He'll make the right decision that's going to redeem him for this move. But this was awesome. And the best part, in my opinion, was the perfectly timed setup Cody F-bomb on The Rock. That was
great. That was fabulous.
That was awesome.
That was beautifully done. That is about as well as you can use the F word in the WWE ever.
Yep.
Like, I don't think there will ever be a better F-bomb in the history of my lifetime during the WWE. But I just wish The Rock, like, to me, it's so much more impactful if, The Rock, I don't know, whatever. Okay, let's play out a quick scenario here.
Yeah.
Cody drops the F-bomb, right? The Rock and Cody start brawling really quick. Cena helps kick The Rock out of the ring, clear the ring, and now you have the moment okay, these two are going to WrestleMania. We're the main event. They're looking at each other. You go for the hug at that point, and then you kick them in the junk. And now I'm really shocked. But when you've got cheerleader Cena dancing around in the background, Cody drops the F-bomb, Cena damn near does a toe touch out of excitement. I don't know. There was just something off. I hate The Rock was involved. I just don't like it.
Yeah, there was, after Cody dropped the F-bomb, there was that awkward minute or so. I think they could have sped up the John Cena hugging Cody thing, but no, I disagree. If Cody starts laying into The Rock, one, is he gonna win that fight? Two, I think the build of The Rock just standing there and being like, okay, what does a boss do? What does the final boss do?
Okay,
He
but
delegates his work.
okay, you were right about the delegating, okay? But I just don't like the okay, you know where I stand with the final boss stuff. Like for somebody as cool as The Rock, the final boss is the coolest thing you can come up with as your gimmick.
I mean, just because you and I are not the final boss does not give us the right to critique the final boss.
But he's not the final boss. Ari Emanuel's the final boss.
By proxy, he is the final boss.
By proxy. All right.
Well, hey, we got more WWE chat in here than Kings. Let's go.
Okay, so I will say this. At least you, and I said it earlier, you don't have a face versus a face at WrestleMania in that match. I'm happy about that. But in some ways, this match is no different from last year.
Yeah, so we talked about Romanowski's comment Friday after the show, and I was like, actually, I love that idea of just throwing everything at Cody. You know, maybe he has his title defense is night 1, and then night 2 is like The Rock versus Cody. So he's just wearing him out. I could still see something like that happening. Do I think Cena wins at WrestleMania against Cody?
No.
Yes.
What?
Oh, yeah. He's winning. He looked good. He looked good in the ring.
All right, man.
2 nights ago.
You're still high off of the heel turn.
And why are you not, Ryan? This is insanity.
It just didn't hit the same for me. Maybe it's because it was spoiled.
You're a Cena mark, is what
I'm
you
not
are.
a Cena mark. I am not a Cena mark. Yes, I know we're here for the Kings. We got to get back to the Kings.
Okay.
Adam Cole, I do like Adam Cole as a wrestler. I think you mean Michael Cole, Mark.
I think you mean Michael Cole.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Michael Cole now. I think he's fine.
Cole's the man.
Yeah.
What are you going to take away from him? He's been doing it for 30 years or whatever.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him.
Well, he's great.
I mean, just at what point now is it going to be like Cena and Cody turn back on the Rock? I don't know, man. I just
Cena will make things right by the end of it. But
but can John Cena realistically have a main event match at his age right now? And being out of
one.
He was like the last one into the chamber, bro.
Well, he might be. But did he sold his own Rumble.
And by the way,
chamber.
WWE needs to hit the back of his head with some of that spray paint hair. Just hit the back of the head, get the bald spot gone, put a do-rag on Cena, do something, because that bald spot is killing me.
You know what? They can do one better now, because John Cena sold his soul to The Rock, who's the highest paid actor in all of Hollywood. We can get Hollywood effects on the back of John Cena's head to fix his bald spot.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, he's got it all. Yeah, he's got it all, right? He's got the locker room with sushi and yeah, whatever. All right, dude. I love you. Thanks for putting it in perspective.
Disloyalty and disrespect. Whatever. The opposite.
Oh my gosh. All right, Mr. Oos. Have a great rest of the day. Appreciate you.
Acknowledge me.
You knew Adam was going to have to come on for a second to talk the Cena heel turn, which is getting a lot of run A lot of run in the chat, although we are here to talk Kings. Baki is on hold. We're going to get to him in a minute. I wonder if Baki's microwave will ever give us a call. What kind of numbers do you think for Scal tonight? I would say not numbers. I would say letters. DNP. CD did not play. Coach's decision. Scal, there's no reason unless JV is in foul trouble. The Mavericks are small, and I'm not saying Scal isn't capable. Huge Scal house here, but you're gonna go smaller. You're definitely gonna go smaller against Dallas, or at least that's what Doug did last time. You can't go double big, and you're certainly not going to go double big with JV and Scal. I don't see that happening whatsoever. I think you'll probably see something more. If the Kings want to go big, you'll probably see Keegan, Laravia, Lyles, and JV. Some combinations of those four. Speaking of the Kings, Doug Christie, very happy with what he saw after the game in Houston. Here was some of his comments. We'll go through some of the numbers for tonight as well for the Kings and the Mavericks. Coach Christie.
Everyone. Obviously, Domas goes down, and it took everyone. And like Trey Lyles, I don't even know what to say about Trey. Super proud of him to stay ready. Markel was great. Jonas comes in and handles his business. Jake was great. Jay and Doug on the bench. Like the bench, the connection with what they're doing and what they're sacrificing, and the communication is big. And Keon is just continues to be special. And then you put the ball in the hands of Zach and Debo, and they make plays. So all in all, there's things, I'm sure I'm going to go back and watch the tape, and there's some turnovers again and different things, but the fight that they continue to show makes me super proud of them.
Can you speak to the bench a little further about just the fight and energy, the spirit they bring that doesn't show up in these box scores?
You know, when we had this conversation at the very beginning, part of my messaging was we play with joy and we take the other team's joy. That's what we want. And that can get a little, back and forth, and I understand that, but that's the style I want to play with. And to do that, you need the support of your peoples. You have to have it. And those guys, whether it's they're playing, they're communicating, they're talking about coverages, they're making sure guys are where they're supposed to be when they come off the floor in the timeouts, like just to hear all of that communication, which was something that, in my opinion, has been lacking for a while. Like it makes me proud, because it shows that they begin to trust each other, because sometimes, you just don't feel comfortable saying some things, and then sometimes there are those hard things that you have to say, and they are trying to do all of that. The production and the points and rebounds and all, but it's a lot of little things that don't show up in the stat sheet anywhere. You will never see them that those guys are doing.
Any update?
Doug is absolutely spot on when he talks about the communication. We talked about that, Jerry and I, at halftime. The communication defensively was excellent. I put up some images on the whiteboard illustrating as much, especially when the Kings ran the zone. It's really nice to have Valanciunas in the middle of the zone, but the way that both the coaching staff adjusted, and by the way, what you're looking at right here is the Kings numbers over the last 8 games. Remember, they've won 6 of 8. Look at that plus minus for Zach LaVine. At the All-Star break, I want to point this out really quick. At the All-Star break, your only Kings starter, or actually your only Kings player that's in the regular rotation that was a positive, was Domantas Sabonis at a 0.3. Everybody else was either neutral or negative. Now look at Zach LaVine, 8.8. DeRozan, who's playing out of his mind right now, 5.1. Doug McDermott doesn't really count because he doesn't have a ton of minutes. Markel Fultz, not a ton of minutes. And by the way, tonight is going to have to be a big Markel Fultz night. Not saying points-wise, but assists are going to need to be there. You know what else is going to have to be there? The minutes. The last couple games, he's only played 4 minutes. I expect him to play way more tonight because of what Dallas does on the perimeter with the pick and roll. Kyrie Irving, Markelle Fultz is perfect to fit in to that role. This game tonight, this is exactly why you signed a Markelle Fultz. So I'm looking for him to play a big role. And I'm also looking for the Kings to continue to get Keegan Murray involved. 4.4 in the net rating. Domas, unfortunately, that's not going to change anytime soon. 3.5 there. Speaking of Domas, we did talk about it briefly, but he does have a grade 1 strain of his hamstring. What that basically means is he's able to walk around with some pain. It is the best case scenario when it comes to a hamstring strain. You don't want a grade 2, a grade 3, but I caution everybody, especially if you've played sports, if you've ever pulled your hamstring, a hamstring, whether it's a grade 1 or 2, 3, 5 torn, basically as you go up the grades 2, 3, you're talking about tears in the hamstring. But hamstrings are tricky. They are different for everybody. They can absolutely linger. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Kings play it with him, because you really you do not want to rush him back. If you are really focused in on those 2 play-in games, which I believe the Kings are, Monty McNair has said as much publicly. I have talked to people behind the scenes that are plugged into the team. There is very much a belief that that is the likely destination for this team. Does not mean that they're not going to go for the 6 seed. Doesn't mean that they're not going to go for the 5 seed. But realistically, you're going to be playing at least 1, probably 2 games to get into a 7-game series. You need Domas right for both of those. He's going to be reevaluated in a week. As we said, Skal Labissiere has been signed to a 10-day contract from Stockton. Skal was in training camp with the Kings. I'll talk some more about Skal here in a little bit, about what he's been doing in Stockton. He will certainly, if he is called upon, he will be ready. There's no doubt about that. But not a massive impact player. Yeah, Dennis talked to somebody behind the scenes too. Yeah, for sure. I can't tell you my sources. I can tell you my sources are different than Grant's, which is good, because that makes what we talk about and what we bring to you that much more credible, especially when we are hearing the same thing. Somebody with some credibility here on the channel as well. Baki, what's up today, buddy?
Hey,
doing well. How you doing, my friend?
I'm fine. Like in the middle of the day, even though it's 1:30 after midnight.
I don't think you sleep. Like, I'm convinced you're in a house that has no windows. You don't know if it's day or night.
You'll never know.
Exactly.
You'll never know.
So, what's up today, bud?
Hey, I don't want to. I don't know if Baki's microwave is gonna ever call the show. I would be thrilled.
Yeah,
to be honest,
that'd be cool.
But the thing I know is that I will put something into my own microwave for the breakfast if we manage to get the W. So it will be 5:30 a.m. So it's gonna make my morning.
Okay, let me ask you a quick question, just a little bit off track. What's a traditional Serbian breakfast?
Oh, it's nothing unusual, nothing different from all the other world.
All right.
You go with eggs, with bacon, with all the kinds of stuff. You know,
fair enough.
With cheese, with something which is let's say caloric for the day. Because I am the fan of the breakfast, even though I am in the game on that point. So I don't really know. Okay, back to the track. I would like to use this opportunity to say something about that number 6 in thoughts, because now it's the good chance Grant is not here, and we don't want to step on our Mr.
Oh,
Nape's nerve.
so you guys
So
see, okay, so anytime I come on the air, it's your opportunity to do all the things that you can't do with Grant. I get it. All right, I'm just kidding.
no, it comes up on my mind, but no, it's nothing. I mean, Nape is the
Yes.
legend, so I'm not aware. I will say whatever it's on my thoughts, even Nape is here or not. We cannot. I mean, we can agree or disagree. It's good to have like that in both ways. So cut the chains and let's go. Okay, let's be serious. The reason I called is that 1 hour ago I entered AT&T network of Houston Rockets, and there was a show on the radio, and they talked about Rockets next game. But the great thing was they talked very long about the Kings, and the main letter was on our new team, and they're 0-3 against the Kings and blah blah blah. So they said also that the Kings are definitely the team which can be very successful to the end of the regular season, and that will not be the surprise, even though the schedule is not on our side. They also mentioned Levine and that Zach is starting to click in the starting five, which I think as well. I mean, I don't know if you agree, but somehow I see Zach is start to think about on the court. Not only, okay, I'm going to shoot the three, so I'm going to shoot the three. Now he's thinking about what is the best to do on the court, what is the best move I can do. So, very nice feeling about hearing things like that from the other side. So that's why I think, I mean, you have the schedule, it's one thing. So, but take a look at all those teams from 5 to 10. I mean, they're losing the games every night. Games you were expecting to they win, or games they're not expecting to lose by. I mean, Clippers didn't score 7 minutes against Lakers last night.
I
Did you
did.
know that?
Yes.
So it's a big dust about it. So I don't know. Okay, we are maybe not used to think about that Kings gonna make some runs like 7 or 6 wins in a row and something like that. But that's the thing I always say in this show, and whenever Napes is here or not, you can never know. PK once said when he got argued with Napes, you can never know what's gonna happen. I mean, look at tonight. Next Clippers lose our win, and we are number 6. You can see this table. So, I mean, standings are right in front of us. So, okay, the schedule is tough, and it's not. But why should we think like we're gonna lose if we play Cleveland, Boston, OKC, and teams like that, Denver? Why do you think we're gonna lose all those games? I mean, even if you win only 2 of them, you're okay. You're not gonna lose every night. I mean, the team is good now, is maybe better. I don't know. Who can say if the team is better or not? But you can. I mean, you can hope, and you can logically thinking they will figure it out more and more. So what I see in the future is this team can play some serious basketball. That's my observation of the situation right now.
For sure. All right. Well, I appreciate it. I mean, that's John Finch says it. Grant says it. That's why we play him. I have an interesting take on all of it, which I'm going to give here in just a few minutes. But look, this is the run right now. This is what
Yep.
the Kings needed. I said before the second part of the season, or before the All-Star break ended, I said the Kings needed to go 5-2 in their first 7. If they went 5-2 in their first 7, they would most likely be guaranteed a spot in the play-in, and that's exactly where we're headed. Now, what it really means is the games like Charlotte, you've got to get that. You got to be able to get
Yeah.
Indiana, even though they're a playoff team in the East. You're going to have losses. Period. End of story. Chicago's playing better basketball, but you got to beat them as well.
But they will have two. They will
Yeah.
have two. The meaning of the NBA is you cannot. I mean, sometimes you can do something like Cleveland did, and 2 years ago Denver, like going for the runs of 10, 12, 13 games. But okay, just look at the schedule and take a look of what's okay. You can take Houston as well. Look at Houston last 10
Yeah, they
games.
haven't
I
been
don't know.
playing well, for sure.
Uh,
I agree. They're 5-5 in
yeah,
their last 10.
and who will what's guaranteed? That's why I sometimes I try to ask Napes if we can somehow put okay, let's not talk about number 6. Let's say we are number 7 at the end. We go through playing and you finish like number 7. And which team you like to see in number 2 spot? You like Denver? You like Memphis? You like Houston? I mean, why do you have Houston to be favorite against Kings playing from the spot number 2? Okay, let them do spot number 2 and Kings be number 7. Who is guaranteed that you're gonna lose that matchup or the first round? Nobody. So teams like from number 7 can win against the teams number maybe OKC
Well,
is something which is harmony and which is maybe you can bet your life in the round 1 that OKC is gonna go in the round 2, but number 2, if you if you take number 2, you're going to play against number 3. So which teams are Denver, Houston, Memphis? Why not? Why not? Okay, somebody will say you dream, but never mind, never
well,
mind.
here's the thing. I think the margin of difference between a good team and a very good team, and then a very good team and a
Yep.
great team, there's not a huge margin there. Okay, it's pretty small. It's not as small as the NFL. It's razor thin in the NFL. But with the NBA, usually it pans out over a 7-game series when you play the same team 4 times in a row. Anything can happen. You don't know, but you also, as much as we love the fact that the Kings, as much as I love, a lot of people in the chat here love that the Kings have won 6 of their last 8, you also have to realize that it has come with some very major flaws that you can't look past. Yes, it's good to win ugly at times, but if you continue having some of these same flaws, and I know they were better in Houston with the turnovers, but they weren't necessarily better in some of the decision making. Some of these lob passes just aren't making sense to me. Why are we throwing lobs to Markelle Fultz? What are we doing? It's like Malik has kind of regressed in that area to a degree. Those things, if they continue, you're not going to win against some of the teams that you're talking about, Baki. They're just too good. Dallas, you got away with it last time. You had 20 some turnovers that resulted in 36 points for them. I would tell you out of 10 games that the Kings, if the Kings did that in 10 games, you probably only win 1 or 2 of them. So I guess you have to take into account the entire body of work this season. And this entire season, you would have to probably put in the category of more inconsistent than actually consistent. So I guess now at game 60, yes, anything could happen, things could change, but we also have a proven sample size of what this team usually is, what they can be, both good and bad. So we'll see. They're going to have a chance to get into the playoffs. It's just a matter of who's going to be in front of them and can they win a game or two.
Of course, but still, I think many people are thinking that like they are pulling the line between the old team against the new team. So this is now we have new team, and I don't know if you can compare that team with the previous one with the Fox, because everything was around Fox, and every possession started with Fox, and Malik was from the bench, and now you have. Okay, you get Fools, but he's only to the rest Monk and nothing else. That's my opinion. And you need to rest the guys. You see what happened to Sabonis, and I was late to the show. What is the prediction for the Sabonis? He's gonna be out.
He's
How
going to be
many weeks?
reevaluated in a week. It is a grade 1.
Oh,
It's
okay.
a grade 1 strain. So that's the press release right there from the Kings. The grade 1 is the best case scenario. Means that there's not, as you move up in grades, there's more significant tearing in the hamstring. Means there's not as much inflammation. He's able to still walk around. So those are all good things, but he's definitely
That you can
yeah.
never know. They're gonna follow it on the MRI because I know the things because I was in the sport
Yes.
doing some with the sport people with the injuries. I know a lot of about injuries, so they're gonna scan it every day and they're gonna follow these things and we can hope. I mean, it's not like knee or something like that or the spine, but knock on the woods, but. Hamstring is very, very
Yep,
tricky.
that's the exact word.
If you go back too soon, you can damage your season off. You see, Embiid is off for the season.
Yeah, he's also got the knee thing going on. So hey, Bach, appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Good
See
job
you.
by Baki. Okay, so everybody's guessing how long Sabonis is going to be out. Here's what I'll tell you. I think there's a lot of guys in the NBA and maybe even some team training staffs, medical teams that possibly would have held Sabonis out of last game before this happened because the initial tweak, let's call it that. I think that's the safest thing to say. The initial tweak happened against Charlotte. So it was tweaked. It was, you know, like if you're running and something, it's like, oh, and it's not a cramp, but it's not bad enough to make you stop doing what you're doing, but it's kind of there. Well, that is why when he was running up the court in Houston, it progressed to what it was now, a grade 1. Was it possibly a grade 1 against Charlotte? I don't know, but it wasn't something that was completely out of the blue. Again, go back and look. You can see in the second half of the Charlotte game when he tweaked it and he's sitting there trying to stretch it out, standing there. In fact, the trainer came over to Domas during the timeout and Domas talked to him briefly, pushed him aside. And I agree. Thank goodness you have Valanciunas. And actually, I think it was Progressive's up in here. That's why I said we needed another big. Progressive has been saying it for a long time. Yes, there was not a better scenario out there for this basketball team to get. It's the exact big that you needed. The exact big. Like if you had your choice of guys on the market, that is the one that works the closest to Sabonis in terms of how the Kings operate. Now, here's my take on Sabonis that I think is going to be a lot different than everybody else's. I'm putting my eggs, all of my eggs, in the basket that based off of the Kings' body of work this season, and I understand it's a different team since the trade deadline, and Zach LaVine's starting to get into the flow, but Scala BCA does not make this a significantly different team. Markel Fultz doesn't really move that needle either. I think it helps, but it doesn't move the needle enough for me to say, you know what, I could see this team taking off to a different level consistently than anything we've seen up until this point. So while I would love for them to be the 6th seed, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I am putting all my eggs in the basket that this team is going to be in a play-in scenario. Now, the next thing that I'm looking at is, and you're looking at the schedule right now that the Kings are going to have coming up again tonight, Dallas, and then they wrap up the road trip with Denver here in, I think Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday is in Denver, and then the Kings return home for the much anticipated matchup with San Antonio on Friday night. So the second thing that I look at is how different, and I mean this, I'm not asking you to take away your optimism. I'm not asking you to go run to me with a stat that proves me wrong. I'm asking you to go off the feeling in your gut. Does having Domantas Sabonis for some of these games make you feel that much better about those games? And I'm being serious about this. Like having Domantas for the back-to-back at home, which is Boston and Oklahoma City, does it make the Kings' chances that much better? Well, certainly their chances are better with him, but does it make it that much better? I don't know the answer to that, but I'm leaning a little bit more to the no side of things. So what I'm saying is my opinion on this is you give Domantas Sabonis as much, you be way more on the cautionary side with this hamstring. You take your time with this hamstring. I gave you my thoughts on Phoenix before, who is an absolute dumpster fire. And as we sit today, are 4 games behind the Kings in the standings. Excuse me, 5 games behind the Kings in the standings, which is a lot of games with only 22 left. Domas is going to have time to recondition to get back into basketball shape. But having Valanciunas, as Progressive said, as Adam said, as many of you have said, it's a pretty good backup option. So I don't want to do anything that is going to possibly sacrifice Sabonis's opportunity to be fully healthy and available to the Kings for the play-in. So I don't know what that means in terms of when he comes back. None of us do. Not even the trainers or doctors do yet. It's going to be reevaluated in a week. But my take is there should be no rush to get him back on the court. The rush should be to make sure he is 100% healthy and also basketball conditioned, game conditioned by the time the play-in rolls around. Here's the other thing that I think is an upside to Domantas Sabonis being injured. Doug Christie said a couple of days ago, it was after practice, one of the priorities was they really wanted to run this offense through Domantas Sabonis. And I happen to disagree with that theory. I don't think it's a great idea to run the offense through Domas for a couple of reasons. Did you hear that? You hear that? No, that's not my wife in the room. That is actually the text tone when my wife sends me a text message. Yes, that is her voice going, Ryan, 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 Ryan. Sorry, I thought my phone was on silent. Oh my goodness. Anyways, back to my point. Doug Christie wanted to run the offense through Domas. He is more than capable to do that. But running the offense through Domantas Sabonis means you are not getting the best out of Domantas Sabonis. He'll get you the 8 assists, 9 assists, 10 assists, whatever it is. But you're taking him out of his sweet spots. You are taking him out of the areas where he is most effective, where you optimize the best of Domantas Sabonis, which is the pick and roll game. The pick and roll game has been huge for this team. And I know it's led to a ton of foul trouble for Domas. And a lot of that falls on the guards and some falls on Domas. But I would put almost a little, if I had to put a percentage of the moving screen fouls, if I had to assign a percentage of blame, like I'm back in court and I'm sitting on the bench. By the way, I was never a judge. But if I was a judge and this was a civil case and I had to assign blame, I would say 51% to the guards, 49% to Domas, because they're not using him right. They're not rubbing shoulders with him. You have Domas and you have Valanciunas, two of the best screeners in the league. You get hit by either one of them, you know it. You feel it the next day. So here's my positive to everybody about Domas being out. The positive is the Kings are going to have to go back to the pick and roll game. They're going to have to go back to what got them to the spot where they were playing really good basketball and beating Boston and having the ball humming around. It's not a coincidence that Keegan Murray is now showing up in some of these games. It's not a coincidence that Trey Lyles is knocking down shots. It's not a coincidence that Keon's knocking down shots. When the ball moves, the team plays better. They shoot better. Zach LaVine has been coming off of more screens. Zach LaVine is now using more screens. I will tell you the biggest problem with Zach LaVine so far that I see when I watch the film is him rejecting screens and rejecting screens before the guy is even out there and set for the screen. Doug Christie talked about it a couple of days ago as well. Things were sped up too fast. Well, now that you don't have Domas, he ain't running the offense, which means he ain't running the DHO. You're not going to ask Valanciunas to run the DHO. He ain't that guy, but he can sure as hell run some pick and roll. Now you're going to be forced to go back and use everybody more. The DHO was the easiest thing to guard for other teams. They figured it out a year and a half ago. Sure, what the Kings are going to be running offensively is not going to be anything exotic. It's not going to be anything sexy, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more fluid. It's going to look smoother. It's going to be more structured. So in a sense, I think that benefits everybody on this team. Now, certainly you are not better without Domantas Sabonis, but I think you have an opportunity for this offense to look a lot better than it has at times since the All-Star break. So, one, don't rush him back. Do not rush him back. And two, I like what the Kings are going to have to do. It's going to force Doug Christie's hand. So that's where I stand on that. Again, no Domas. He will be reevaluated in a week. Valanciunas steps up as your starting center. Foul trouble is the big issue with him. You do worry about the foul trouble, and he needs to be smarter with some of the fouls that he commits. Some are, they're not necessary, but you know what it is? It's part of your game. It's part of his game. It's letting you know he's on the court. And the Kings, when Doug Christie talks about hitting first, that's exactly what the Kings did against Houston. They came out and hit first. And for an incredibly inconsistent team, there's one thing that they consistently do that they have done both the Beam team year, last year, and now this year. When somebody goes down, this team rallies around each other. So that is a good thing as well. So I'm optimistic. I don't think the Kings' odds in some of these games change dramatically without Domantas Sabonis. I don't. That home run was going to be brutal already, so don't try to rush him back too early. Don't do it. Make sure he is right for the play-in. Because that's what you are playing for. You are playing to get to a 7-game series. Make sure he is right by then. Sabonis, 191 fouls. Keegan Murray, 141. Monk, 133. Domantas Sabonis has fouled out 10 times. Well, last time I checked, which was about a month ago, fouled out 10 times in his career. 6 had already come this season. 6. Athena likes my take. Appreciated Athena. Complete agreement on this. Sabonis is the best workhorse in the NBA. I want him to be in the grit, not controlling the ball. We need a point guard so bad. You do. You absolutely do. And Zach LaVine's not the answer to it. DeMar DeRozan's not the answer to it. Point guard by committee is not, it doesn't work. It really is the biggest missing element when you look back over this last 3 years of the Beam team, not having a true point guard. And that's why it's just so like, with and Devin Carter might turn out to be fine. I don't want to put any judgment on him yet. It's way too soon. The kid didn't have summer league. He didn't have a preseason, a training camp. He didn't have half of a season to work his way into the NBA. But the drafting constantly of these guys, like I just don't know how Monty McNair and this entire team in the front office, I just don't know how they look at this product even more, even harder than we do. They have an entire analytics team, and it's never occurred that the Kings need a true point guard. I just, that is so hard for me to swallow, because had you gone out, this team is so different. Dramatically different. And I get these guys don't grow on trees, but this type of player, if you had a Kobe White, if you had a TJ McConnell, if you had an Austin Reeves, if you had a Peyton Pritchard, if you had a Josh Hart, a true point guard that can also mix it up in rebounds. Hell, if you had a Mike Conley from 2 years ago, not this year, 2 years ago, somebody in that realm, a Chris Paul, for heaven's sakes. Yes, a Chris Paul, somebody in that realm. I'm not going to say the sky would have been the limit for this team, but this team would be exponentially more dangerous, because now you are not asking players to play out of position, which has been everything. That's how you classify this Beam team, this era under Monty McNair. And to a degree, Mike Brown had to roll with it. Mike Brown didn't get to pick the players. And that's a whole nother discussion for a whole nother day about how all that went down. But just too many guys out of position. Makes the pickup JV for me. Shocking, surprised. We got him over the Lakers. Yeah, well, I think the Lakers Everything was in that Luka basket, and that was quiet. And yeah, I hear you. I hear you, but I could see why the Lakers waited and went with Luka and wanted to make sure that that was the first shoe that dropped in the trade deadline. Let's go back to the phone. Inactivist, what's up today? Inactivist, also inactive on the phone line. Come on, thought you were going to call in. You're going to tease the King's Court audience like that? What's up with that? That ain't cool. I was going to welcome you to the party. It was your first call. I don't recognize your screen name.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Come on in, activist. So you guys are looking up fouls. How's everybody feeling about tonight? How's everybody feeling about tonight? Remember the last time these two teams got together? We'll put that back up for you. It was an interesting game. The Kings traditionally, over the last couple of years, have played well in Dallas, by the way. So you like that. That's something that I like a lot. But this is a Dallas team that's been really piecing it together. DeMar DeRozan, massive game last time in Dallas. Hit the baseline jumper for the win. But it was a game where the Kings really, in some ways, got extremely lucky. And by the way, that version of the Dallas Mavericks that you saw that night, the game we're looking at right now on the screen, it's pretty much the same version that you're going to see tonight because Gafford got injured in the game that we're looking at right now. The biggest stat from here was the Kings turning the ball over 21 times for 36 Dallas points. It's a lot of points. Kings got to clean that up tonight. The Kings are going to have to be able to communicate more defensively, a lot more of what we saw in Houston, and it's got to be right out of the gate. I put some of this up from last game. I wanted to show this. It was absolutely beautiful what Doug Christie and the team did with the zone defense as my whiteboard refreshes. Let's bring in, let's see, is it Lamb? What's up, Lamb?
It's me, Tim.
Oh, Tim, what's up, dude?
Hey, Rhino.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, baby. How are you?
I'm great. Getting ready for this big game tonight. Kings looking to make it 7 out of 9. 7 out of 9 and guarantee a 3-1 road trip at minimum.
That is over 50 on a 4 game. So, hey, that's a dub.
No doubt. So what's up? What do you want to talk about?
How about some WWE? I like how they make star appearances in the Fast and Furious series.
Okay. I've never really watched a ton of the Fast and the Furious as of late. Isn't The Rock in those?
The Rock, you've got Cena.
Okay. Oh, Cena is in there now. Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And yeah, I just like how wrestlers go on to have acting careers.
Well, The Rock opened that door up for everybody. Well, actually, for those that don't know, Hulk Hogan back in the 80s, when he worked for Vince McMahon Sr., had that Rocky role offered to him, and we lost Tam, had the Rocky role offered to him, and Vince McMahon Sr. said, if you take the role, I'm going to fire you. So what's Hogan do? Hogan takes the role, becomes more popular than ever, and Vince McMahon Sr. had no choice but to bring him back. So that was kind of like the first crossover, but nothing like The Rock has crossed over. Todd, you can call just by hitting this link right here, right there. All you got to do, hit that link. You can call and give us your predictions for tonight. Hell yeah, King Edward's going to be in the house. Going to the game tonight, section 124. keep an eye out for King Edward. What are you going to be wearing? We might see you. They usually put Kings fans up on the telecast at times. Let's see. What was, whiteboard. That's what I wanted to show you. So this was a really good example of what the Kings did. And I think you'll probably see a little bit of this tonight too. And they're going to see if Dallas is going to be able to shoot them out of the zone defense. The difference here is, and I want to point out what Doug was talking about with the communication. Let me make this a little bit bigger for you because we had to reset. So the Kings right now are in a zone defense. And what had happened up until this point, which was kind of cool, is because Malik and Keon, they're so familiar with each other up top in the top of the zone. So usually when you run a 2-3 zone, you have a guard here, you've got a guard here, and then you've got the 3 down low, right? Well, they had Malik, who's here, and Keon up here. They had them pinch up a little bit on the ball handler, which you can't see here. So when you run a zone defense, the most susceptible area to breaking the zone is right here where Şengün is at. It's the middle of the zone. You don't want to let somebody get there. But because Şengün is a little bit goofy from anywhere like 15 to 12 feet out, he doesn't really like that shot. The Kings were willing to concede that shot. But all 3 of these defenders, Keegan Murray, JV, and DeMar, they were communicating. They knew what they were going to do. They were going to let him have this shot. And they also knew that he probably wasn't going to want to take it. And if they came to him, then JV was going to step up, but he was going to be looking to pass. So what's Şengün do? Şengün kicks out here. Keegan steals it, and it's off to the freaking races. So tonight, with Dallas being undersized, you're not going to want to let somebody get to the middle of the zone per se. What you are going to want to see offensively, this is beautiful basketball from the other night in Houston. Now that you are not going to have any Domantas Sabonis, a lot more pick and roll. But what I want to point out to you here is the spacing. Other than Zach LaVine, he should not be where he's at there. That is a bad job by Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine should not be near that play because you're allowing your defender, Amen Thomas, to help here. But look at this pick and roll right here between Keon Ellis and Valanciunas. It is shoulder to shoulder. That is the exact advantage that you want to make. Zach LaVine, he's supposed to be over here. I have no idea why he's right there. But you have everybody in perfect position. And as Keon is coming off this right here, it sets you up for 2 different motions that you can run with Keegan Murray and DeMar DeRozan. Really simple. Keegan can come down, set a screen right here, and curl DeMar around, or Keegan can rim run with Keon and go for an alley-oop dunk. So there's a lot of good options and plays the Kings can run off this. And now that you don't have Domantas Sabonis, it's going to be a lot more pick and roll. So what you see here, let me clean this up for you. This is going to be the most important part of the Kings offense tonight. And the one guy I worry about with it is Zach LaVine. Not talking about the spacing in this photo, but the most important part of the Kings offense tonight, if they are going to be running a ton of pick and roll, is this right here. You have got to use the screen and be shoulder to shoulder with the big man, with JV. If you are not, if there is space in between there, that opens up the opportunity for offensive fouls to be called, and that can get JV into foul trouble. That's when the refs see moving screens. That's when they see all those little kind of hip shuffles, and you can't get them into foul trouble. So coming off of the screen like that is imperative tonight in Dallas for the Kings. And Zach LaVine, a little bit more better spacing would be nice there as well. But can't complain too much about Zach LaVine, reigning player of the week. So good job by him as we continue to get you ready for the Kings and the Mavericks. What are your predictions? What are you thinking? You can comment. You're commenting right now. I got you. Andrea, hey, yo, Ryan, I'm blocked on this channel for some reason. Frank is my username. I don't know why you're blocked. Let's see. It doesn't say that you're blocked when I'm looking at you right now. I will have Andrea. I will have Napes look at that because Napes controls the blocked list. But I see your comments right now. So unless you are the lone rider, Tone, who is in timeout for WWE spoilers, you shouldn't be blocked. Must come out physical 100% from the jump. I don't think, by the way, I don't think this is a Dallas team. It's not a Charlotte situation. It's not a team that I believe you can break, like where you're just going to break their spirits. It's not who they are. They're going to keep coming at you no matter what. So it's a game where it's going to be imperative that the Kings try to limit their lulls. I thought Grant had an excellent point on the post-game show the other night saying the Kings really didn't have too many lulls. In fact, you guys know I track every single possession. I actually thought, and this was one of the few games in the last 7 or 8 that the Kings finished 3 of the quarters really well. They only had one bad finish to a quarter. So you're going to need the same tonight. So do me a favor, using my wife's account to comment this, but my account, okay, can you do me a favor and email? You got to email me, rhinoinsacktown@gmail.com. I can't do anything about it right now, live on the show, but send me an email right there, rhinoinsacktown@gmail.com. We'll get it cleared up. We don't usually block a lot of people. Flores, what's up? 124, 120. Napes is the top blocker on our team. You know what? I will say this. I'm going to throw my partner under the bus here. Napes is always looking at even if it doesn't make it on screen, he's looking at the comments. So when we're doing our shows, he's got his cell phone right in front of him and he's looking down. And so, yeah, he will selectively block people without even acknowledging it. Usually it's not for a bad reason. Like if you start invoking the names of some of our family members in comments and not in a polite way or an appropriate way, you could understand how that's going to probably get you blocked. But yeah, it takes something like that to get blocked on this channel. It's not usually the norm. Again, we've talked a lot about the Kings. You're going to be playing a Dallas team that's, really gritty. I think gritty is the best way to put it. They're smaller, so the Kings got to keep JV out of foul trouble. Sabonis will be reevaluated in a week with his hamstring issue. Zach LaVine, Western Conference Player of the Week. Jalen Brunson, the Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Great honor there. The update on Sabonis, 1 week will be the reevaluation. That does not mean he is out a week. He's being reevaluated in a week. The Dallas Mavericks tonight, coming into the game, have won 6 of their last 10. So not terrible. They are without a ton of people. Anthony Davis, most importantly, Gafford also out of this one. We'll pull those up for you again as well, so you can check that out. What else do you need to know? Scal is now with the Kings, signed a 10-day contract. So happy for him. He is simply an insurance policy. I would not expect to see any minutes tonight from Scal. Would love to see a Kings shot chart that looks somewhat like this again. This was their shot chart against Houston. And look at this. Look at how well they defended the 3-ball last game. Part of that was Fred VanVleet not shooting the ball well and taking bad shots, but the Kings defense was very good last game. The communication, the rotations. It was good. It was really good. Jerry and I both said the same thing at halftime. So very impressive. Hopefully, if you see a shot chart like this again tonight, the Kings win this basketball game because Dallas is going to want to shoot a lot of threes. So let's go back to, oh, look who it is. Look who it is. We're getting a special visit here from the Guru. He's early. What's up, Guru?
How you guys? How you doing right now?
What's up, dude?
I'm excited for this game. We definitely. I mean, this is a big win. We said that for the Houston Dallas, if we were going to get one of them, we needed the Dallas one. So it's going to be. I'm just trying to see if they can keep this momentum and see if they can get this W. I want to make sure that they have a good shot selection, and I'm kind of want to see how many threes they've been shooting because it's some games they just shoot a lot, some games they don't. I don't know. It's just kind of interesting. They're kind of inconsistent how many they shoot, but Zach LaVine's been playing a lot better. I mean, I think he got the Western Conference Player of the Week this week, so that was cool to see. Didn't expect that. So I mean, things are going good for right now. And if somehow, some way, we can get a 7th or 8th, and we only got to win one of the games in the play-in, I'm excited for that. It's a low chance. I'm still thinking we get the 9 or 10, but just if there's just a way, man. If there's just a way.
I'm with you, man. I'm not. Did you hear my take on the Sabonis situation? I'm not sure how long you've been along.
No, I have not.
Okay, so I'll do it really short. By the way, it should be Drapes doing the game tonight. Mark has been doing national stuff. Last night he was in Phoenix, so unless he made the trip, I'm pretty sure it's Drapes. Really quick, let me hit some of these. Ellis has said he's on the record saying Kyrie is the most difficult guy for him to guard, and it wasn't until just this last year that he got his first taste of Kyrie. So what do you think? Keon Ellis on Kyrie's signature night for Ellis? No, not a signature night, but I think I would like to see a lot of Markelle Fultz, Keon Ellis tonight in the backcourt. Just defensively, I think that will be making it more difficult for. I'm reading all these things, make it more difficult for Kyrie. So, Zach, my take was that I don't think losing Sabonis with the schedule coming up, not having Sabonis, it doesn't make my gut tell me that, like, or how do I put this? I'm trying to like shorten it down.
It's not going to be disaster mode.
Having Sabonis, even for the stretch coming up, it doesn't make like this massive difference to me that like changes what the possible outcome and how those games could play out. So my argument is you be as conservative as possible with him. Make sure that he's right. Phoenix is a dumpster fire. They're probably not going to come anywhere near the 10. The Kings at worst will be 10. You gear everything to making sure Sabonis is ready to go for the play-in, including conditioning, game shape, etc. So whether you bring him back with 5 games left in the season, you do not rush to bring him back whatsoever.
Yeah, 100%. You do not want him to be hurt going into the play-ins, playoff games, all those big time, way more important games. I don't. Yeah, like you're saying, there isn't going to be like it's not like we're going to go 0-10 in the next 10 games, and with Sabonis we were going to go 9-8-2 or something.
Right.
It's going to be, it's probably going to be a 1 or 2 game difference, maybe something like that with Jonas. He's been playing pretty well, so we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how the lineups are with Jonas starting and stuff like that. So,
no, Andrea. Oh my gosh, I love when people do this. Yes, Andrea, I'm catering to individuals. Here, it's Rhino in Sacktown at gmail.com. Now I've got to look for my email. There you go. Rhino in Sacktown at gmail.com. Speaking of a big night.
Time to have a bad time. It isn't on my schedule.
It isn't on my schedule, but I understand you have something kind of cool and big on your schedule tonight. What's going on, Zach?
Correct, man. Appreciate it. We're gonna hopefully start the NBA Guru show tonight. It'll be after your guys' post game show, and that's probably where we're gonna be scheduling most of the shows. So it'd be great if people can tune in, check it out. Just gonna be talking some Kings ball, a lot of NBA major headlines. Throwing some hot takes, predictions, stuff like that. Make it a little fun, and yeah, it'll be a good time just to chat. Be a little late night show kind of thing, and it'll be a good time. It'd be great for everyone to come and join, and it'll be fun. A lot of good takes, and we'll throw in some good advanced stats here and there. Maybe some NBA trivia some nights, stuff like that. But it'll be mostly Kings and NBA basketball headlines. So it'll be a good time.
And where can they find that?
Yeah, at NBA Guru Show, the NBA Guru Show on YouTube. It'll be just be on YouTube channel, and that'll be where we get that'll be where we're begin posting up for now. And I'm excited to start it. And you know, I appreciate you guys or you mentioned it, and hopefully we'll be doing it for a while. So NBA Guru Show at NBA Guru Show, and yeah, it'll be a good time.
How long have you had the NBA Guru YouTube handle? Is it new?
Yes, yes, it is. It is. It is.
I can't believe that wasn't already taken. Like, are you kidding me? Just the NBA Guru?
Yeah, it's just it's at NBA Guru Show. So maybe someone has taken
That's
at NBA Guru, but
How is
I
that
had the
not
show.
taken? That's crazy, dude.
That is true. Even on Twitter, I have a Twitter at NBA Guru Show. Nobody has it on that. Nobody has it on Instagram. So and yeah,
That's
I see
insane.
John's question. Is it interactive? We'll have a chat as well. So we'll have a similar chat, but we won't be taking calls and stuff like that just yet. I think maybe we'll get a decent following first and stuff like that before we get into phone calls and stuff like that. But just trying to get into the swing of things and feel it out. How you know, working all the show stuff, tech stuff. It should be all good, but you know,
Okay,
get
but
into the rhythm of things
but
first.
if you guys are a startup and you're a new show, how the hell did you afford to rent out the TNT studio?
I think you know, it'll be a surprise, but I will not be having the TNT studio for the NBA Guru show. It'll be this TNT thing. Looks, I think I might just keep it for your show.
Oh, okay. So you like built your own studio for this
Oh
thing.
yeah, it's a
Oh,
built. It's
Great
a totally
success.
different studio.
damn, dude.
Great success.
Great success. Sweet, man.
Yeah, so
Well,
it'll be a good time.
so you guys will be going live after we finish the post game?
Exactly that. Live after the post game shows at NBA Guru Show. Today it'll be at around 9 o'clock. I think the game will end around 7:45, 7:50. I'm guessing you guys will go till 9:10 or whatever, something like that. So we'll just be right after that. So it'll be a nice little late night. It's a little earlier game, so that's good. You know, people don't have to stay up till 11 p.m. tonight. So it'll be a good show. We'll have some
Cool.
hot takes for everyone and stuff like that.
I
Throw in
love
some
how
good
I love how you
stats.
say we'll have some hot takes.
Always gotta have the
It's
hot
just
takes,
like
man.
like you're like preparing a dish. Yeah, we've got the hot takes geared up and making it 3:25 right now. Good.
Yes, sir.
Well, people are asking for you to put some information in the chat, so I'm going to let you go. You put that in the chat for everybody else, your screen name and stuff, and channel name, so they can figure that out. And looking
Awesome.
forward to catching your debut after our show tonight.
Appreciate it, Rhino.
Yep, you
Great
got
show.
it, Zach. Good stuff, man. I love when people have the courage to start something. It doesn't have to be a show. It doesn't have to be, you know, a business, but taking a risk. Maybe that's what it is. Taking a risk. I love that. And especially people like Zach. He's established around here. He's definitely one of our better callers. Been around for a minute. Been caller to Grant for a really long time. He's actually co-hosted some pregame shows with me before. So go support him in his venture. One thing that I have been forever grateful for is that Grant has given back to me. He's given back to other aspiring broadcasters, and certainly I want to do the same. Not that I am anywhere in the same realm as Grant, But any help that if something you want to do, happy if somebody I know, somebody that I believe in that's serious about it, happy to help them out. And Zach certainly is one of those guys. So they will be doing their first show tonight after we wrap up the post-game show. So you don't go to Zach first. You come to us first. And actually before that, we've got the halftime show with Jerry coming to us live, coming to you live at probably about usually an hour and 15 minutes after the start of the game. So we will be here, give or take, about 6:45. So join us instead of watching that garbage that they put on from the Bay Area. Come get some real stuff. Come get some Jerry Reynolds. We'll also get your predictions. And it's actually kind of freaky how close we get on the scores. None of us know. Like, none of us know. One thing that you probably don't know, because it's opposite of a lot of what's up, Tony? By the way, I saw you put that in earlier. What's up? Sup, Tony? Opposite of a way that a lot of shows work. They're more produced. You have segments. You know the different things you're going to hit. We don't do that. Everything is just our conversation and we get to it. So I don't know what Jerry's going to want to talk about. I don't know what Grant's going to want to talk about. I know that it's going to be Kings related probably, right? But we don't know. But in our final scores, we don't know what we're going to say. And usually they are freaky close. And they're usually, I mean, like, we're usually within points of each other, and usually they're within points of the actual score. So it's kind of a fun thing, and we always love when you all hit it as well. So, in fact, that's what we are going to do. That's what we're going to do. Here's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. It just came to me now. I love it. I'm going to tell you right now, but I'm going to remind you first. Post game. We'll be here. Bring the calls, bring the energy. We love it. Y'all have been knocking it out of the park on the phones. Hopefully, we are talking about the 7th Kings win in 9 games. They need this one. They need this one bad. All right, here's what we're going to do. I want you, by the way, that's my handle on the screen right there, at Ryan _in_ Sacktown. You can go to X. You can type in the King's Court with Rhino, whatever you want to do. Number one, you got to follow me. Got to make sure that you're following me. Number two, tweet me. Yes, I still call it tweeting. What am I supposed to say? X me? That doesn't sound right. Tweet me your final score for tonight. Tweet me your final score right now for tonight. Whoever is the closest to the final score, you will be getting a very nice package. In fact, I'll just send you the same package that Stockton sent me. You are going to get a very nice new Stockton Kings cap, courtesy of the Stockton Kings. I like that hat. I don't want to give that hat away. And you will also be getting an autographed Keon Ellis photo. Look at that. That's pretty nice, huh? Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So tweet your final scores for tonight to me right now. Get those in. In fact, you have until, you know what? You have till halftime. You have until halftime to get your final scores to me. Tweet them at me at Ryan in Sacktown. We'll even send you the nice little note from the Stockton Kings. Look, Stockton was like, we hope your viewers enjoy this. So there you go. So get your final scores tweeted at me beginning right now. You have until the end of halftime. Got to be done by the start of the third quarter. Your final scores. Whoever is closest wins the hat and wins the autographed Keon Ellis photo. So make sure that you are following me. Get those out, and we will get that sent out to you. Obviously, you got to be following me because I got to be able to reach out to you. So that is the best way to do it. So that will be going to somebody tonight. So start getting those. Tell a friend if you want somebody else to get involved in it. At Ryan_in_Sacktown. It's a cool picture, right? It's a really cool picture of Keon. Ryan, I don't have X. You got to get Threads. Okay. Okay. I'll give it to you this way too. You can hit it on X. Here's the other thing you can do. If you don't have X like Dorian, you can text this number right here. Your final scores. You can text them right there. I will make that concession. 916-822-9485. If you don't have X. But I want to see them on X. I don't want to see it. Don't be lazy and tweet them. Or don't be lazy and text them. If you text me a score and I find out that you're somebody that I follow or you follow me on Twitter, not going to be happy. But you'll probably still win. We'll see. So, all right. That's what we're going to do. So, again, 916, do the Ryan thing. You guys know what to do. And you have this stuff as well. So, hit me with your final scores on the X, and you'll win those two things. All right. We are back here in just a matter of about an hour and 15 minutes. Enjoy the first half of the Kings and the Mavs. Again, the Kings, big thing. Foul trouble for JB. This pick and rolls have to be clean as hell. You can't give the Mavericks second opportunities. The Kings need to win the boards. They can't turn the ball over. We know that. Points off turnover, nightmare. Those are the really important things. Communication, the pick and roll defense, massive. So a lot of fun stuff. The Kings, again, looking to make it a guaranteed 3-win road trip. We will see you at the half with Jerry Reynolds and Mr. Napes. Appreciate all of you. Have a great one. Go Kings. Light the damn beam. We'll see you in just about an hour.